Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursdays. This is Nicole Roberts Jones, the Bankroll Your Brilliance expert. Always excited to be here to hold the space for you to learn all the ways you should get paid for what you know. So, as you know, these segments, we cover one of three critical issues to do that. One is, what is your brilliance? What's the one thing God has created you to do in this world? The second is the value tied to it. And the third is creating multiple streams of income, right? Of course, we know that, right? So the thing I think that most people overlook is the value tied to it and all the things you've got to go through to get to it. Though the vision tarry. Y'all know I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right? So this woman is a perfect example of that. But before I introduce her, those of you that are here every week, you know how I am. As my grandmother would say, don't come in this house and not speak. So at least say hello. Tell us where you're from. You know, when I'm looking over here, that means I'm waiting for your comments. Say hello and tell us where you're joining from. Now, as I bring up our woman of the hour, if you have questions as she's sharing, I want you to post the questions. If you have comments, if she's stepping on your toes, if she's saying something good, we can't hear you, but we can see what you're saying, right? Y'all are gonna be shot at. Ain't nobody's gonna say hi to me. Nobody, not at all. Nobody. Thank you for Pennsylvania. Hey, Aisha, I appreciate you. Hey, Sabrina in Canada. I got to beg for y'all to say hello to me. Hey, Pertil, am I saying your name right? In Michigan. And girl, please correct me because I'm hooked on phonics. Hey, my Renata. Love when I see my clients here. Hey, girl. Hey, Maurice in Mississippi. And Zipporah. And where are you, Zipporah, in the world? And Sheila in North Carolina. Keep on coming in, y'all. Keep on coming in and saying hello. I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, I want this to be interactive for you, right? I want this to be interactive so that you can be blessed by what gets shared. Hi, Tyree in Phoenix. And Sephora says she's in Minneapolis. Minneapolis. Anyway, with that said, let me read the bio. And I'm going to tell you some things that are around the edges that aren't on this bio, right? So, who is joining us today is Cassandra Ferguson. Cassandra is a certified trainer in various subjects, spanning from working with her, from the work she's done with Fortune 500 companies to spiritual work, to being a vision coach, to being a global influencer, a transformational speaker, and a TV and radio personality. Now, that should be enough, and I can stop right there. But no, there's always more. She extends her wisdom through professional and personal development training in the areas of leadership development, team building, communication, customer service. The list goes on and on and on. But then God dropped something even better in her spirit. Her greatest accomplishment, of course, is being a mom, but is also being the CEO, mom, and wife. Don't want to leave her husband out. I don't want to get in trouble. But being the CEO of Elevation Global Media, a pioneering media organization that connects visionary leaders like all of y'all and world changers globally through radio, broadcast, podcast, television, and print. And I can go on and on about the ministry work she's done, the beautiful family that she has. But I want you to meet this powerhouse woman as she shares today how your test can become your testimony. Now, how many of y'all are going through something really, really hard? And I want you to realize the Bible verse says all things work together for the good. Not some things, not a few things. And she's about to show you how all things did work together for her good. Hey, Miss Cassandra.
Hey, Nicole, how are you? I'm excited to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Always excited. So let me just say this because, you know, Cassandra and I met years ago. I was a guest on her radio show, and then we were like kindred spirits, and we've been trying to find ways to stay connected, and I love it now. Tell you later how we play together because some of y'all might be interested. So with that said, you know, I want to just pour right in and how do you stay focused? Now, first of all, tell them the story of, before I start going in with questions, tell them the story of how you got here. Like, you know, you had a business before and tell them what happened with that. And then Elevation Global Media happened.
Okay. So. I don't know how many of your viewers follow let's just say the mortgage industry, but there was a time in the mortgage industry, it was just booming, boom, bam, boom. I mean, everybody was buying homes. They had these creative loans that the bank and the financial institutions were creating. So everybody can basically have a home. And I'm going to be honest, some of them were kind of crazy because if you are making, let's just say $20,000 a year, you should not have a $550,000 house. But those are the creative ways they were doing it that kind of backfired. They call it what they call the bubble burst, basically. Mm-hmm. And during that time, it was 2007, 2008, I had a brick and mortar I had had for 8 years. So I had already had this brick and mortar. And not only did I have the mortgage company, but I also had a processing company called Divine Processing. So basically, I had my processing company processing these loans and getting it to the table. Then I had a title officer that was on key. So we were getting paid. The money was rolling in. Can I say that? Finally, in 8 years, the money began to roll in. All of a sudden, I'm sitting in my office and I hear the mortgage companies are shutting down.
How many of y'all remember that? And Aisha said mortgage industry the last 7 years. I know Renata, who's here, who's actually a client, is in real estate. And I want you guys to remember that some of y'all don't remember the 2008 bubble, right? When everything started to crash. I want you to be mindful. Where were you when that bubble? Maybe you had a home that you lost. Maybe you almost lost your house. Maybe you were glad you didn't buy a house so you didn't lose it. Whatever that is, I want y'all to remember. The Aisha's and I remember. Go ahead, Cassandra. Just wanted to make sure I stop for a minute so they can remember.
I mean, it's a time to remember because some people are actually taking their life because they could not face the fact. I mean, I had key mortgage people and in the industry that were taking their lives basically because this thing happened. Okay, it was a serious time. So I'm sitting there and I got about 50 folders on the desk that's waiting to close. 50. All of a sudden, getting a call from the lender saying, I can't do it. We about to shut down. The feds done shut us down. The feds done did this. So I'm like, God, what in the world is happening here?
Right.
I said, God, I'm at my peak time. I'm at the time when things are kicking off and things are looking good. Are you telling me I need to shut my doors? I have 15 loan officers. 15 loan officers. So it wasn't just me. And all of a sudden, the loan officers started to leave because I still hung around for a bit because they needed to eat.
Right.
How about that? They needed to eat. They needed to feed their family. And all of a sudden, I found myself in a dark place. And I began to talk to my mother. I said, I feel like I failed.
Now, I'm going to stop you right there. How many of you guys have ever been into a dark place? And maybe yours wasn't the mortgage industry, but you've gone through something that's made you feel like, oh my God, I can't believe, how did I get here? Right? Aisha said, I almost lost my home, but Reset helped me. And yes, God had better plans. Come on, Aisha, right? So how many of y'all have, and some of you guys may be in a dark place right now. And can I tell you, I feel like we're on the next edge of the next bubble. I'm just saying. So I wanted to stop there because whoever that is, because I feel like this message is for somebody, right? And even if you ain't go out yourself, you can even just put your hand over your heart and have a moment to yourself that maybe you're in that place right now. Go ahead, Cassandra.
But Nicole, let me thank God for the people that were around me. Because my mother said to me, you're only a failure if you don't pivot and keep doing what you're doing and recognize that this time or this season is up.
Wait, girl, she's dropping nuggets, y'all, because I keep having to stop her because I know Cassandra keep talking. Look, you're only a failure if you don't pivot. Now, let me say this to y'all. Many of you guys are in, some of you guys are in, I'm doing right now a Bankroll Your Brilliance challenge. Today is day 4. I'll tell you about it later. But here's what I said the other day. So good that, we have a whole, and don't lose where you are, Cassandra, put a bookmark because, women of a certain age, I don't want you to forget, right? So listen, I want y'all to get this though, because it's so good. I'm like trying to contain my excitement. I already talk fast. So, I call it the purpose matriculation system. So we go through an education matriculation system that we know about. So we know we're going to go from kindergarten to first grade. When you're in elementary, you're going to junior high. In junior high, you're going to high school. And then if you choose to go further, from high school, there's college and then grad school and wherever you choose to go, or certification program or what have you. But our purpose matriculates in the same way. And many of us don't realize that. So for me, and what Cassandra's showing you is she's going to tell you her pivot. I love she said God made a pivot. I love Renata said only a failure if you don't pivot. Nugget. That is a big nugget, Renata, right? And so for me, I worked in the entertainment industry and I loved it. So mine is opposite. I still had a testimony. This was a test. Mine did not feel good. Mine was phenomenal. I loved every minute of it. I was going to every hot Hollywood party. And those of you that know me, I think I missed the parties. Let me not even try to perpetrate, right? But God had more for me, and I couldn't understand how I felt like there was something more when I loved my daytime job. Why do I feel this hole in my soul, Lord? I don't understand. What I didn't realize is what Cassandra's showing us. God was pivoting me into doing this work. And it didn't start here, y'all. I started working with teenage girls because God knew I couldn't work with grown folk until I got used to doing the transformation, right? And when that got good, I had 10 chapters in 10 states of my youth program, and we were growing by leaps and bounds. then God literally said to me, and I remember the day he said it, Cassandra, he said, why are you trying to resuscitate a dead baby? Because my chapter stopped working. And I was like, what do you mean a dead baby, Lord? And that's all you're going to say to me today? Right? And so what God was showing me was that I was already working with women. And now I'm in the middle of another pivot as now I'm working with men too. So I'm sharing that with you because I want y'all to get what Cassandra is saying. It was a huge nugget. I'm going to put this up here again. Only failure if you don't pivot. So when my youth program stopped working, I was really, really trying hard to make it work. And God had to say, why are you trying to resuscitate a dead baby? Let the baby die. And it was a baby because it had been my baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the same place you were in, Cassandra. Your baby was dying.
Yeah. Right. And you know, I'm one of those hard-headed ones, Nicole. I'm going to tell you why. When I say hard-headed, that means that God literally probably got to shut some things down for me to stop.
Right.
He literally, you know, because he knows I'm going to keep going. And, you know, because I know that I walk by faith and not by sight. That's just me. And so, and then of course I had friends around me that were praying for me because I was in a dark place, in a place of depression.
Yeah.
You know, a place of depression. And I can tell you this, and people probably say you crazy, but I had to walk away from everything. I had to tell the landlord, keep the furniture, keep everything. I walked away.
She walked away from her house. If y'all ain't got that, she said she had to tell the landlord to keep everything. She walked away from her business. She walked away from her house. I want y'all to get this. Only thing you didn't walk away from is your marriage, which I'm sure was on the edge.
My children. You're right. And you know, I got to the point where I told my husband we could live in a double, and there's nothing. I have a lot of families that live in a double wide trailer because I'm from Virginia. I'm from the sticks of Virginia. Okay. I don't care. Because one thing I realized that my peace was more important. My mental state was more important. And sometimes you have to make a decision not based off of you trying to let's say, because my whole purpose of doing everything I do is to leave a generational legacy. Right. Because the Bible talks about that, leaving an inheritance for your children's children's children. Right. So that's my whole purpose of leaving a legacy and leaving an inheritance so my children can pick up where I left off. Right. So here we are, right, Nicole, we're in 2020. Fast forward. Pandemic. But God had already put on my heart back in 2018, 2019, he wanted me to do this. And I kept saying, you sure? Then he began to show me the location, right? Right. Now she's talking about those of you, she said, do this. She's talking about Elevation Global Media. I want y'all to get this. Go ahead. Sorry. But I had said, I will never open up a brick and mortar again. Right. Because there are expenses that come. Look, I want you guys, can I just say this, Nicole? For those that know people that have brick and mortars, I want you to send them notes, tell them to hang in there, do what you're doing, because there are expenses associated and connected to a brick and mortar business. Right. Aisha, I got you. I'm going to tell you how we can support you. I see Aisha's note. She said that's where she is, right? I have 2 businesses, her properties, a nurse and stressed and want to walk away. Aisha, I got you. I'll tell you exact way you can get your support. So go ahead. Sorry. I felt, Aisha, Nicole, we just touch and agree with you, Aisha, right now. Mm-hmm. We touch and agree that God will give you wisdom. He will give you insight on what you need to do. Yep. I felt that, sister. Look, I've been there. Yep. Trying to think, how do I do? So here it is. I said, okay, Elevation Global Media Group. I was going to the hairdresser across the way, and Nicole know that across from my studio, this is wonderful place where you can get your hair done and all kinds of things. And I was going to that hairdresser, and that's a space over there. When I tell you, I moved in without putting a dime in. They gave me the keys. When I tell you, they basically said, we will do this, give you this price for this lease. When I tell you, I said, I want you guys to build a stage. I want you to do this. I want this room to have a glass window. I want this. We will do that for you. So if God wasn't in it, I'm just going to say this. If God wasn't in this, if this was all a Cassandra, the vision that I had in my mind would not have come to fruition, and the people that were in place that didn't know me from Adam, didn't know who I was. Right. Come on. And so submissive to do the work. Right. That's so good. And I want you guys to get this. God gave her vision in 2018 to start a production studio. Okay.
She didn't know that COVID was happening. She didn't
Nope.
know that many of us would have to shift to virtual, including me. Tell you about me and her later, right? But I want you to get this. She was obedient and started the process. You had your launch the week before COVID, right?
Oh my goodness. The launch was March the 21st. Well, actually, let me tell you this. We actually made the business official with the state of Maryland, and and that's another topic. Some of these businesses aren't official. With the state of Maryland on March the 19th, 2020.
Mm. Y'all know that was like either the first week or the week before. That was like right at the beginning of COVID, and when we didn't know how serious it was about to get.
Right. So we didn't know that we were going to still be talking about this 19, 20 months later. We didn't know we were going to be in our home. But what I had to do is I still had to continue to move forward in what God had told me. And all God said to me is keep moving forward, get to the other side of this.
Right.
Get to the other side of this. I'm building something here in you, because he was building some things in me as well. And then here we are, launch, like you said, the launch. And Nicole, we actually did that video launch a year later. Because we couldn't have anyone in the studio, remember?
Right.
It's considered retail space. So I don't know if you guys remember when they shut down the malls, right? So they couldn't do anything as far as renovation. We couldn't have anyone in there because we're considered retail space. So when the state of Maryland opened back up, that's when we began to go back in. And we began
But I want you guys to get, and that's when everybody started looking for virtual meeting spaces. She was already ready because she was obedient. And again, now mind you, the first business failed. I want y'all to get this, okay? This is how God does, right? But he has to shut one thing down to give you another thing. Some of y'all are in one relationship, and God ain't gonna bring you the better relationship till you let that relationship go. I just had to say that because I just felt it in my spirit. Whoever needed that, right? So not sometimes, God has to shut one thing down in order for you to have the next thing, but he doesn't always show you. That's what that purpose matriculation. That's called faith. If you look at Hebrews 11:1, faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. He's going to ask you to trust him, but he ain't going to always show you how it's going to happen. He might show you what's going to look like at the end, but he don't show you the middle. That's why Habakkuk says, though the vision tarry, wait for it. Because you don't know what you got to go through to get to it. And I believe that happens as it's a test, which is why I love Cassandra's story. So she opened the studio, and then COVID happened. And what you mean I can't really open it yet?
Yeah. Right.
And then once we all started coming back in, you started getting phone calls, right? So with that, we keep talking about the studio, but here are a couple of things I want you guys to get, right? How do you stay focused on the big picture when you're in an uncertain place?
Are you asking me that, right? Well, the big picture is this, and you said it, Nicole. Who do I have to answer to? When I'm disobedient or when I'm lacking faith in the area that God has shown me that he has called me to, who am I being disobedient to?
Right. Well, let me interrupt you for a second because Aisha says she has to run to a meeting and I don't want you to feel unheard. So let me just give this to you because us having a conversation with you, a 20-minute, 30-minute is not going to really help you move your business forward, to be honest with you. But what's going to help you is I'm doing right now a 5-day free Bankroll Your Brilliance challenge. It started on Sunday, but you can watch the replays. The reason I'm doing the challenge is it gives you every step you need to look at where you're in deficit, why you feel like you're in overwhelm. I'm going to encourage you to do the challenge. And at the end of the challenge, I'll give another gift, which will lead you to a phone call. That phone call then will be advantageous for you because you can see where you have holes and then we can help you fill your holes. Okay. So I'm going to encourage you, Aisha, before you leave, bankrollyourBridgeChallenge.com. Grab that, go through the process. I give you a workbook every day. Here it is right here, actually. It's a workbook, an activation so that you can see where your holes are. Because without that clarity, no one's going to be able to help you move anything forward. You're going to stay in overwhelm. Okay. So with that, I wanted to give that to her before she left. All right. So with that, let me take that off screen and let you keep going.
I'm glad you stopped to do that. Because that's where it's about. That's what we talked about, Nicole. It's not even about us.
Right. And here's the thing, you guys. I say this all the time and I can't. I got to say this and then I'm going to let Cassandra finish. And look, we got 10 minutes left. It go about fast, y'all. So listen. Can you put it in the chat? It's bankrollyourBridgeChallenge.com. Let me leave this up while I say this real quick. Oftentimes people want me to mentor them. They ask me, will you be my mentor? Or they want to have a conversation with me. And I'm going to tell you guys, there it is up on the screen, Aisha, for you. I'm going to tell you guys, I want you to get this. A 20-minute or 30-minute conversation is not going to move your business forward, because there's no way anybody can give you any activation in 20 or 30 minutes. A mentor is not going to help you move your business forward, because a mentor is going to fit you in when they can. What you need is a contractual long-term relationship so that you can have a long-term solution, because for many of you, there's holes. If your business isn't successful, if your business is stuck, or if you feel stuck, you need more than one conversation. So I will be irresponsible if I say, sure, I'll get on the phone with you. Because again, a 20-minute, 30-minute, even if it's an hour conversation, it's not going to help you. It's just not. It make you feel good in that moment. Just like this will make you feel good in the moment. But it's not going to give you the strategy you need. So I want you guys to get that the reason that I even bring people here every week, you are so welcome, Aisha. The reason I bring people here every week is I want you to see living, breathing example of what it looks like when you choose to be faithful to your gift, when you choose to be a good steward of the life entrusted to you by God.
Come on now.
That's who Cassandra be.
That's it.
So with that, sorry for that commercial break. That's what that was. So,
yeah, you hit it. You hit it, Nicole. It's about stewardship. It's about stewardship. What has God entrusted you with? My thing is, he just doesn't give us downloads, just to say, oh, I had a vision, or I had a dream, or I had a thought. He gives us those downloads, those visions for a reason.
Yes, come on.
And there are people that you are assigned to that are attached to those downloads.
Come on.
So making God your one-man audience, number one. And like you said, realizing that I have to be a steward over this which God has given me. And there are also people that I'm assigned to that are waiting for me to get in a position of obedience.
Yep. So can I tell y'all this? So good. And look, Cassandra and I could talk for the next 3 hours, but we only have a few minutes left. So I want to move into this. I want you all to get this. Because Cassandra was obedient. So I met you probably in like 2006. It was a long time ago. Right? So, and we felt connected and we tried to, keep in touch, but there was nothing really for us to really work together on, right? So last March, this is how deep God is. I want y'all to get this. Many of you guys know I do a virtual event. I'm at my virtual event and I'm having the absolute worst experience. Now, nobody that attended the event, actually, Renata is here. Renata, you were at that event, baby. It was the worst ever. I mean, from the lights going out to the cameras going out, and baby, I was teaching sideways, holding my iPad, this is my phone, teaching sometimes because stuff was going out because I was committed. But what people didn't see is all the back scene stuff that was falling apart. So because I'm trying to stay in my spiritual self, I'm trying to be a God's girl. Let me tell you, I'm from Inglewood, California. So what was rising up in me is I'm gonna cuss this beep, beep, beep out. That's how I felt. I'm being honest. Okay. So because I was trying to stay in and even my team were like, Nicole, you're not gonna say nothing. I was trying to, wow. So I started scrolling through my phone and I saw Cassandra's ribbon cutting. And I said, that's my answer. In the middle of my chaos, I opened my phone. Who knew that I was going to open it to Cassandra? I emailed her sitting in the studio. Girl, no, I didn't. I don't think yes, I did. I emailed her sitting in the studio while I was angry, while I was trying to keep my wits about me, while I was trying not to cuss this brother out. Right? I want to say the N-word, but I'm going to be good. So I want y'all to get this. That is easier. It would have been easier for me to go to the left, but God already had an answer for me. So my question to you is, and I want you to see, even Renata said, yes, that was my virtual event. Nicole made some serious lemonade with her lemons, right? And I kept telling the truth, y'all, the lights going out. I kept talking, what they didn't see is team crawling underneath me. What they didn't see is lights falling. I would just keep teaching, right? And so I want you to get that everything, but the John 10:10 says this, and this relates to Cassandra, this relates to me, this relates to all of you, Aisha, you included. And I want you guys to really, really get this. John 10:10 says, Jesus said, I've come that you have life and have it more abundantly. But I think we forget the first part of that Bible verse because we're so focused on abundance. Right. The first part of that same Bible verse says that that the enemy comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy.
That's it.
So when things are happening bad for you, God is using it. He's going to use it. It's always going to be for your good. All things work together for the good, right? But the enemy's trying to get you off your game. That's how he's using it. So I want to celebrate you, Cassandra, because you could have said, "Oh, I'm not doing another brick and mortar." Oh, no, 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 sir. I already been there, done that. Lord, you ain't talking to me. You talking to somebody else up the street, right?
Right.
But because the enemy's going to use it to make you say no to God the second time. He's going to use it to make you feel like, "Oh, I can't do that again." So for me, sitting in that studio on that day, I was so frustrated and done, but I still am going to be professional. I still said, okay, let me handle him the way I always think, what would Jesus do? So Jesus would not do what I'm feeling in my spirit right now. So let me try to divert my energy. And when I did, God answered me. Had I not diverted my energy, it would have been a different outcome. And because I said yes to who I knew God would want me to be in that moment, I'm sitting here with Cassandra as my media partner. And we're doing some, wait for 2022. We got some good things coming, right? So I want y'all to get that your test becomes your testimony when you are clear and uncompromising with your gift. And Cassandra, I love that your journey is an example of that. So tell us a little bit quickly because we got 6 minutes left and I need to end. No, I got 4 minutes left. Jesus. Tell them about Elevation Global Media. And for the first 5 people, she has a free gift for those of you that entrepreneurs that need to elevate. Get it? Elevation Global. If you need to elevate your brand, go ahead. Tell them about your free gift and tell them about Elevation Global.
Our vision is all about our clients. We want to serve you in excellence. We want to make sure that everything that you wish you had in the studio, you get in our studio. We want that. We want you to have an experience. So we are located in Towson, Maryland, right down the mall. If you need to get a pair of shoes and a dress before you go on stage, you can do that too.
Don't get your hair done on your makeup because it's next door.
Or haircut. We're not leaving you guys out, but we want you to be able to come in and be able to have the space, the atmosphere set so you can be able to create. We're calling on all the creators.
Yes,
those
come on.
Desire to write that book. Those that desire to speak. Those that desire to have that radio show. Those that desire to have that summit, conference. We are calling on the creators because God created you to be creative.
Yes, come on.
And we want you to come to 1 West Pennsylvania Avenue. You can even call us, but here's what we're giving you today for the first 5 people. Why 5? Me and Nicole agreed on 5, and we hadn't even talked yet. God said that's his number for grace. So we are giving grace. We're allowing God's favor to work through us to give you 2 days of free airtime on the Elevate Your Life Talk Radio, which you can get on your Apple, you can get on your Google, and you can even ask Alexa, play Elevate Your Life Talk Radio.
I love it.
So we're giving you that in the 30-minute studio or a free 30-minute studio recording time because some of you need to start somewhere. And we're giving you the chance.
Yep. So the first 5 people. So don't wait. Even if you're watching a replay, don't assume 5 people have already emailed. The first 5 people, she's giving you that gift. And if you know it's time for you to do video or podcasting or you need some kind of media, that's the word I'm looking for.
Voiceover, outros, come on, all of that.
The Elevation Global Media is the partner for you, and production at elevationgmg.com. That's where you email. Even if you're curious about how can they support you, email them and they will share their services with you. So again, first 5 people, y'all don't wait. So with that said, Cassandra, thank you for all you are. Thank you for showing us what it looks like when you show up and you say yes to God in the face of fear. Thank you for being a soldier in this kingdom work. I honor you. I appreciate you. And I love you, girl.
I love you too, Nicole. And thank you so much for having me.
Yes, always a blessing. Always a blessing. So with that, y'all, listen, I saw somebody wrote a comment. Zephora said, I opened my business in 2020 with a plan to leave my 9-to-5 in January 2022. I'm scared but trusting God. So Zephora, let me say this to you. So many people tell you to step out on faith, but God wrote a whole book called Proverbs in the Bible. That's a book of wisdom. He wants you to have wise faith. So don't you quit your job without understanding where the revenue is coming from, because here's what most people do not tell you. You got to spend money to grow your business. So you can't eat on the money that is first generated in your business. So until you get to predictable revenue, don't quit. Do not quit. You know, I remember for years, I used to call my daytime job my investor because it was investing in me, paying my rent, eating, paying my Wi-Fi. Yeah, because I needed Wi-Fi to run my business. So be mindful not to quit until you have predictable revenue. All right. For those of you that are ready to start your business, or listen, you haven't yet hit predictable revenue, that's the exact reason I created my Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge. So I'm going to show you a quick commercial, and then I'm going to come back, and then we'll wrap up today's phenomenal episode. Are you a highly skilled professional and you've been seeking a path to advance your purpose? Yes, you may already be successful in your current career, and yet you have this desire to build a business that allows you to serve all those that God put you on this earth to serve, so that you're making a difference and making money while you do it. And maybe you don't know where to start, or maybe you've started and you haven't yet made predictable revenue. And it seems as though it's way too hard for someone who's reached your level of success to figure this out. Well, you're the exact reason I created the free 5-day Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge. Register and learn more by going to BankrolLyourBrillianceChallenge.com. So in 5 days, I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps to live into the freedom, fulfillment, and meaning you greatly desire, all while creating multiple streams of income from what you already know. So you may have tried so many different systems, coaching groups, and programs, and yet your efforts have not given you the clarity you need to monetize your gift. And that's exactly why I'm going to walk you through how to create the strategy that clearly articulates what you do, so those that need you hear you as their answer. Oh, and they will pay you for it. Plus, I'm going to teach you my all-time favorite thing I coach my clients around, which is how to make money in your sleep. You definitely don't want to miss this. Again, register now at BankrolLyourBrillianceChallenge.com. Listen, you've been working to create someone else's billion-dollar brand when God put a billion-dollar brand in you. And all you need is the tools and strategy to go after the abundance with your name on it. I can't wait to pour it all into you. So with that said, you heard me talk about it a little bit earlier in this episode. So today is day 5, but here's the thing. The replays are available through Sunday. So it's not too late for you to join us. The reason why I commit to do summits like the Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge is when I was in a place in my business when I was failing, just like Cassandra, you heard me talk about it earlier. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to ask. I didn't know what to do. And so I wanted to be able to gift you with the exact things, the 5 areas you need, so that you can be profitable and give God a great return on his investment in you, as we talked about earlier, so you can be a good steward of the gift God has placed in you. And that's the reason I do these episodes every Thursday, because it is my assignment that you get in alignment with yours. So with that said, it's always my honor and pleasure to serve you, to coach you, to hold the space, to bring in some of my super friends so they can pour into you and show you what it looks like when you choose you over your comfort. Because I hope you realize your comfort and your conviction can never coexist. Not if you're going to be all of who God has called you to be. So with that said, I'll be back next Thursday with another episode. Can you do me a favor? If this episode has given you any value, number 1, share the value you got here in the comments. Number 2, can you share it? Like those of you that are in Facebook, hit the share button, share it with your network, and tell them your friends, family, whoever the value got out of today. And those of you looking at YouTube, do the same thing. Share it so that we can get. So just imagine what this world would be like when all of us are creating the kingdom here on earth, when all of us are living into the highest and best version of who God created us to be. Well, that's my mission, and I need your help to do it. So with that said, y'all, have a phenomenal rest of your Thursday. I'll see you next week for another episode. I'll see some of y'all in the Bankroll Your Brilliance Challenge, but I'll see the rest of you next week for another episode of Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursday. Bye, y'all. Look, I'm saying bye, getting excited, and I'm not even ready to put my outro on. Bye, y'all.